Welcome, everyone. Ben Northey here, and thanks for joining us for this special online information session, which is really one of our first looks at the shape and some of the highlights of the MSO's 2022 season. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land I'm on here in Melbourne, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. And as I'm sure you all know by now, the MSO is proud to be playing an active part in the reconciliation journey of our First Nations peoples. And we'd also like to thank you for your support during what has been a highly challenging time for the performing arts in Australia. We're proud of what we've been able to achieve this year in spite of the ongoing limitations which have impacted our industry severely. But I think we can all agree things haven't really gone to plan for most of us in 2021, have they? But we appreciate everything that you have done for the MSO, whether it's sponsorships, donation. I know I'm speaking to our staunchest supporters here, donating the cost of a ticket, just sticking with us all as we navigate the challenges for the performing arts here in Melbourne. I'd like to also mention that our supporting partner, Tarrawarra Estate, makers of amazingly good wine, are generously supporting this launch, and they're going to give you a chance to purchase some wine at a 20% discount from their website using the promo code MSOXEWE. Until midnight tonight, you'll get 20% off all of the wines on their website. So thank you so much to Tarrawarra. I hope people are still listening after I've said that. The details will be in the chat window. There will be a Q&A at the end of the chat, also on YouTube, and you can put your questions into the chat window at any time during the presentation. So this information session is the first look at the 2022 season, a season which is hugely exciting as we welcome our new Chief Conductor, Jaime Martín. We're very, very excited to be joined by Jaime. We'll hear from him in a moment. We'll also hear from our Concertmaster Sophie Rowell to tell us about the highlights of this season, and also from the Senior Manager of Sales and Customer Experience, Shannon Toyne, to answer any ticketing related questions you may have. So just briefly, the 2022 season comprises more than 110 performances. We've got 6 MSO commissions, 5 world premieres, 2 Australian premieres. The MSO will be joined by 20 international guest artists, some fresh faces making their debut with the orchestra, and some who have had previous concerts cancelled in the previous seasons or postponed, who can finally join us once again in 2022. And I think the subscription launch was on Tuesday this week, and the head of marketing, Dylan Stewart, tells me that we just had our best first day of subscription ticket sales ever, double normal. So that's wonderful news. And it's clear there's a real appetite for the experience of live music in Melbourne once again. Now vaccinations are getting higher. People will have renewed confidence to reconnect with the concerts, and that's very, very exciting. So there's much to look forward to in 2022. Everyone at the MSO is thrilled to be embarking on a new chapter in the history of the orchestra with our new chief conductor, a superb musician and conductor, and also a wonderful person who will bring great energy and ideas to the organization. To tell you more about his own highlights and excitement for 2022, I'm delighted to be able to introduce, I think just off stage, maybe he can tell us a bit about where he is and what he's been doing, the new jet-setting chief conductor of the MSO, my dear friend, Jaime Martín. Welcome to you, Jaime. Where are you?
Hi, Ben, and hello to everybody. So I am in Denver, Colorado, and I am. This is my hotel room. I just it is now 11 p.m. We just had the concert. I just finished the concert, so I rushed to my room to be able to be with you and with all our subscribers. And it is for me such amazing moment this to talk about our new season to everybody. So I am so happy, Ben, to be here, even if I am very far away.
Wonderful. Well, do you want to take us through some of the highlights of the season and tell us a little bit about what you're looking forward to?
Absolutely. So first of all, what I would like to say to everybody is how honored and how excited I am about starting this new journey with this amazing orchestra. You know, the first time I worked with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra. We did Mozart Requiem and Ma Mère Loi by Ravel. And, you know, not only the playing of the orchestra, the amazing musicianship of everybody, but the city, the audience, how everybody welcomed me from the beginning. You know, it is, I cannot wait to start the season. I don't know if you are aware that in August, I traveled to Melbourne to try to do 2 concerts with the orchestra, and in the end we had to cancel because after I finished my quarantine in the hotel, then suddenly Melbourne went into a lockdown. So for me to start the season in February and to be with all of you is something that I cannot wait. I thought a lot about what the repertoire and the program for, especially for the first concert. And I am very, very happy to announce that we are going to do a new piece, a premiere by Deborah Cheetham. And I think this will be a very important piece. This is a piece that she's writing for William Barton. And it is the first time Deborah and William will work together. So I think this is a very, very special occasion. And the rest of the program, actually, not just the rest of the program, including Deborah's piece, is all for me. I wanted to somehow do beginnings or morning. So we are starting with Haydn Symphony Number 6, Le Matin, and continue with the new piece by Deborah Cheetham, and the title is Vaparipna, within the Yorta language, means dawn, beginning. And then we continue in the second half with Mahler Symphony Number 1. And for me, Mahler Symphony Number 1 is a piece that just the opening of this piece, you know, with all the strings in a flageolet, and suddenly the flute and the piccolo and birds appearing. It's like the beginning of the day. And for me, this is a program that signifies my beginning with you in a new city, with a new orchestra, with new friends. So this will be my first concert in February, and immediately the following week, we are going to have a concert with no soloist, and the soloist for this program will be the orchestra. We'll start with a piece by an Australian composer, Maria Grenfell, is Fanfare for a City, and then the soloist, as I said before, will be the orchestra. We will perform for you the Concerto for Orchestra by Bartók, and this is a piece that will allow all the members of the orchestra, all the soloists that are so fantastic to show off. And in the second half, we will play Beethoven Symphony Number 7. You know, I think this combination for me to have Bartók, you know, I used to be a flute player, and then the flute solos in this Concerto for Orchestra are really incredibly hard and wonderful at the same time. It's a wonderful music to play, and it is always a piece that every time that this piece appears in the music stands of an orchestra is a joy a joy, and we are all a bit afraid of it also. So it is it's a combination of things, but I think I am very excited to do this program with the orchestra. Then later on in August, I will be taking part in the mid-season gala, and for that we have the immense luck to have Sheiko Kanei Mason as a soloist for this concert. I say immense luck because you know, by chance, he's going to be with his family working in Australia, doing some chamber music during that time. So a few months ago, I played with him in London. We did the Dvorak cello concerto together, and talking about this, my new job in Australia. And I said, oh, you know, it would be fantastic if you could come to Melbourne. And then he said, well, I am going to be in Australia in August. And said, I cannot believe it. So immediately we started putting the whole thing together. And I think it's one of those chances. And I think it's a fantastic opportunity for you to hear Sheikhu. He recently did an incredibly successful concert at the Proms in London. And I think he's one of the incredibly charismatic figures in music we have now. It's something about Sheikhu, not just his playing, but his connection with the audience, which I find unique. He will play Shostakovich cello concerto, which actually I've never played this piece with him. I have done Dvorak, I have done Saint-Saëns with him, but never the Shostakovich. So I am very excited. And in the second half, we will play the Symphony number 9 by Dvorak, the New World Symphony, which actually is the piece I just finished today here in Denver. I just half an hour ago, I was doing the end of this piece, New World Symphony. You all know this piece. We all know this piece, but for me, every time I listen to this piece, or I have the opportunity to work on it, I discover new things. And for me, Dvorak is one of the masters of composition. It's incredible that he can create so many melodies, you know, so many themes, so many tunes. I mean, his imagination is absolutely incredible, and I cannot wait to do this symphony with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra. The program we will do after that is completely different, and we go into an Stravinsky extravaganza. So we are going to play for all of you the three main ballets by Stravinsky. So we will start with Firebird, and then we'll have a break. Then we go Petrushka, break, and Rite of Spring. This concert, this program is a challenge for the orchestra, as you can imagine. It's some of the hardest music ever written. And this concert, apart from the music, which I think it's amazing to have these three ballets in one evening, it is very special for us because also it's the beginning of a new collaboration between the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra and ANAM, the Australian National Academy of Music. So we are going to put together our resources and make this incredible program for all of you. After that, we will have one of our soloists from the orchestra, Chris Moore, our principal viola. He will be the soloist in Berlioz' Harold in Italy. And in the second half, we will play the Manfred Symphony by Tchaikovsky. The reason for these two pieces to be together is because these are both Harold in Italy and Manfred are the two great poems by Lord Byron. So this, I think, somehow, in a way, the Manfred Symphony by Tchaikovsky is a continuation to the Berlioz Harold in Italy. And these are two pieces that I have done on their own in programs, never together. So I am very excited and very curious also to see how they work together. But as I said, to have the opportunity to do this with Chris Moore, I think is luxury, and that shows that we have an orchestra of soloists. And anyway, Chris will be a wonderful Harold traveling through Italy. The following program we have an Australian premiere of a new piece by Thomas Hades. Actually, it's the latest piece Thomas Hades has written. Is the Exterminating Angel Symphony. This is is a symphony in 5 movements of his latest opera. Well, yeah, I think, well, I am not sure if he has written any opera after that, but anyway, this is the last opera of Thomas Hades I saw actually 4 years ago in Covent Garden. It is amazing music. Really, I love the opera, and I had the opportunity to listen, and I have the score of this new piece by him. And you know, Thomas Hades for me is one of the great composers, and I am very, very happy to be able to play this piece, its first performance in Australia. You know, when I was a flute player, I played with Thomas Hades conducting, and I remember a concert we did at the Edinburgh Festival that we started with one of his pieces, and then after that we did Ravel, Tombeau de Couperin, and then we finished with Sibelius. So obviously the combination of Thomas Hades, Ravel, and Sibelius is a meaningful combination for him, for Thomas Hades. And this is the reason I thought of combining these 3 composers together in this program. So we have Thomas Hades' Exterminating Angel, then we will have Ravel Piano Concerto with Joel Son, fantastic pianist. I have played with her the Chopin Piano Concerto recently, and she's absolutely fantastic. We will finish this program with Sibelius Symphony number 5. Our next concert with me, I mean, then Ben will talk about the rest of the season. Of course, we are going to have many guest conductors and many concerts, of course, with Ben conducting. But my next concert will be the Verdi Requiem with the amazing Melbourne Symphony Chorus. As I mentioned to you earlier, the first time I worked with the orchestra, we did the Mozart Requiem. And I had the opportunity in that concert to see the qualities of your amazing choir. So to do the Verdi Requiem with them after this last year of pandemic, I think will be very special. And we have fantastic soloists. So this is, I think, one of the highlights definitely for me in the season. Then we have, you know, a very special program for me. Then the following one, we have, if before that, in August, I'm going to do a new piece by Thomas Hades. In November, I'm going to do a new piece by Brett Dean. And Brett Dean, for me, also is a very important composer. As you know, Brett Dean is Australian. He used to play the viola in Berlin Philharmonic. I have met him during my time when I used to play the flute with Chamber Orchestra of Europe. And he's one of the great composers of today. And I think his music always touches me. And this particular piece by him we are going to perform is a piece that he wanted to, is based on Beethoven Piano Concerto number 5. So we are going to have Beethoven Piano Concerto number 5, and then Brett Dean's piece, and then we will finish with Beethoven Symphony number 5. So we have Piano Concerto number 5, Beethoven Symphony number 5, and in the middle, the piece, actually, I don't know if I can mention this name, I am afraid, Neisendorf is the title of the concerto. And anyway, Jonathan, I cannot read, but Jonathan, who is the soloist for this? I cannot read the program. Ben, can you help me?
Is it Jonathan Biss?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was starting to say, because I knew it was Jonathan Biss, but in the middle of all this, I cannot read the thing. And you know, this piece, actually, I got an email from Jonathan Biss, because for this concerto, Jonathan will have to play the piano plays as on the front of the stage, the solo piano, but he also has to run to the back of the orchestra to play the piano that normally is played from the orchestra. So he's going to have to do a kind of choreography of running from one place to another. So we've been discussing how to organize this already. I mean, we are going to perform this piece in 1 year time, but it's funny, we have to start talking about this kind of logistics. And then my last program of the season, just before you have your summer holidays, then I will do a concert which will be a kind of Spanish celebration, just to finish the season in a, I don't know, I was going to say in a happy mood, just because it's Spanish music. I mean, not always Spanish music is happy, but this for this program, I am combining Spanish music written by Spanish composers and Spanish music inspired music written by French composers, and in this case is Ravel. So we will start with Ravel, Rhapsody Español, then we do De Falla, El Amor Brujo, and we will do this with a flamenco singer. And actually, this piece originally was written for a flamenco singer, but not often is done this way. So I'm really looking forward to do this for you in the original Spanish way. And in the second half, we will do the two suites of Manuel de Falla, the three cornet hat, and finish with Bolero, a piece you all probably know very well. We have lots of music, wonderful music, exciting music, new music. Also, I think it's a good way to welcome you into the concert hall. And I hope that through all these programs, then we start to get to know each other. I hope I can meet you in person. And again, I am so happy to be able to play all this fantastic music with an orchestra that I already love working with these musicians, and especially has been so hard the last few months, the last year. When it has been difficult to be able to play in front of an audience. So the idea of being on the stage with you at the other side, it's very exciting. So I will see you very, very soon. Ben, I think now it is your turn to go through the rest of the season.
It is, Jaime. Thank you so much. And I know that you've had a massive day today, rehearsal this morning, concert tonight. You haven't even had dinner yet. It's nearly midnight. So I'm going to say goodbye to you. It's been wonderful to have you with us and to take us through your first series of concerts with the orchestra. Everybody is so excited. Can't wait to get you here in 2022. And I know you're traveling. You've got a concert tomorrow. You travel to Sweden. You have more concerts. I said jokingly earlier, we've been busy here in Melbourne too, but I think you're busier actually. So thank you so much for joining us, Jaime. And I know everybody will be very, very excited to see you in person, as you say, in the new year. And bon voyage to you, my friend. Take care.
Thank you very much. See you very soon.
Okay. So, yes, I do have a few of the other concerts that I can speak to. All of the concerts that Jaime mentioned are in Hamer Hall, and I think that goes for all of the concerts I mentioned, unless otherwise specified. Early in the year, on the 5th of February, we're going to be performing part of our East meets West series, and that's the Chinese New Year concert, where we blend traditions of music. And we have a wonderful program. It's really turned into one of Australia's major cultural highlights. Brings together the world of Western opera and Chinese masterworks, and the unique musical celebration in 2022 features an all-star cast and is perfect for the whole family to enjoy. So I urge you to check that out. It's the Year of the Tiger next year, and as a AFL fan. I'm probably a bit greedy, actually. We don't need another premiership, but Year of the Tiger, just saying. One of the concerts that I'm most excited about is a concert in Hamer Hall I'm conducting, and it features the second piano concerto of Brahms, performed by one of Australia's finest pianists, Daniel Deborah, who's performed the first concerto with us in the previous seasons. We're also going to be performing a neglected masterpiece by Austrian composer Erich Korngold, his Symphony in F sharp, written in 1952. I thought it was never performed in Australia. I've since found out it has been performed once in 1998 at the Sydney Festival. It is a powerful work from a composer who was torn from his whole world by the events of World War II, flung 7,000 miles around the globe to a new life in America, where he became an incredibly successful Hollywood composer. Was witnessing his entire world turned upside down. He's bewildered to find himself facing, racial prejudice, artistic snobbery for being a film composer, and he is an absolute genius. And it's a piece whose time has come. It's just recently been performed at the Proms in London to much acclaim. And I'm just so excited to be able to present that Melbourne premiere of the Korngold Symphony in F sharp. The Metropolis series is very interesting in 2022 as well. This is our sort of new music series traditionally. And we have a wonderful program called The Lost, which we're going to be performing at St. Paul's Cathedral. And The Lost refers to the work of Australian composer Mary Finsterer. We're going to be performing that work alongside work by Hildegard von Bingen and Arvo Pärt. So a wonderful chance to hear Christopher Moore again as soloist, Timo Vakoval from the ACO and the MSO chorus in this concert, which focuses on narrative interpretations of myths and ancient rituals. And in the St. Paul's Cathedral, that beautiful church acoustic, that's going to be a very, very special night indeed. Another concert that I'm going to be conducting is Kaleidoscopic Splendor. It's been titled Dvorak's Symphony No. 8's the main work. We have another work of Erich Korngold, the Violin Concerto, and Emily Sun, one of our great violin soloists, is going to be performing that for us. We open that concert with a work of Australian composer Miriam Hyde from 1943 called Village Fair. And that's another thing. I know Jaime is very committed to performing work of Australian composers, not just new ones, but ones that have been neglected over the years as well. And from the mid-20th century, Miriam Hyde is certainly one of those. Zhan Zhang, our principal guest conductor, is going to be finally getting to Australia after not being able to be here for the last couple of years. And she's performing the 9th Symphony of Beethoven on the 30th of June, the 1st of July, which will be absolutely magnificent to hear that work again, another work, that'll speak really powerfully now more than ever. And also a violin concerto by Chinese composer Zhao Zhiping, and Lucy Ching, our artistic ambassador, is going to be the violin soloist for that as well. And the MSO chorus will be busy in the Beethoven as well. One of the really interesting collaborations we're doing is MSO and Spinifex Gum. And this is an interesting project that brings together the sound of a choir called the Malia Choir, who are based in Cairns, Indigenous singers from Cairns, and the music of Felix Riebel and Ollie McGill, who are from the band The Cat Empire. And this concert's going to be led by Lynn Williams. And it's a symphonic version of an existing show that's being upscaled, part political, part aspirational. It explores hard-hitting issues of our time, themes of friendship and empowerment, and celebrating what can be achieved when we come together as one. And that'll be presented as part of NAIDOC Week, Art to Challenge and Inspire Contemporary Australia. We're also really thrilled that Paul Grabowski is going to be continuing his work as composer in residence. We hardly got to play anything of Paul's. We had an amazing experience with a work called Wata earlier this year that he wrote. There's another work, which is a world premiere that we've commissioned as part of Metropolis Festival, and it's called Immortal Diamond. And it features the singer Lisa Gerrard as soloists, and draws on a poem by Gerald Manley Hopkins that Paul first read when he was a teenager, and continues that theme of healing that he took up with Wata earlier this year. Was such a powerful night of music performed by the Wilfred Brothers, the songmen from Arnhem Land. So those two Metropolis concerts will be very interesting as well. There's so much more I could speak to, but I'll just point out the Sydney Maya concerts. They're going to be in February, a series of 3 concerts, the first of which, called a Symphonic Soiree, is going to be conducted by James Judd, Ravel's Daphnis and Chloe, a new work for Indonesian instruments and orchestra by Bianca Gannon, Australian composer, the Miriam Hyde Second Piano Concerto. So that's a fascinating program to look forward to. The film composer John Williams turns 90 in 2022. We're going to be performing an evening of John Williams, conducted by Jessica Gethin, who's a wonderful Australian conductor coming over from Perth for that concert. I know that'll be hugely popular as well, as we perform all of his greatest film music. And then another collaboration with Paul Grabowski, and this is called One Song, and this is the music of Archie Roach. And that'll be a very, very special 3rd concert as we collaborate with Archie Roach, who will be singing up a big idea. And that idea is that we've mapped our human journey across the world through song, linking back to the birth of all things. So they're just some of the highlights that I thought were worth mentioning. I mentioned a couple of the debuts that were happening. We have some new faces to the orchestra. Conductor Nodoko Okisawa, a Japanese-born conductor who's based in Berlin, and she's the winner of the competition for young conductors of Besançon in 2019. Another very interesting conductor worth checking out is Alpesh Chauhan, who's the music director of the Birmingham Opera Company and the associate conductor of the BBC Scottish Symphony. He makes his debut with the MSO as well. And also a wonderful conductor from New Zealand, Gemma New, who is the principal guest conductor of the Dallas Symphony Orchestra and is the recipient of this year's George Schulte Conducting Award. So it's very exciting. So, you know, a real healthy balance of familiar faces and new faces to look forward to as you explore the new season and the season brochure. And just a reminder, there will be time for questions at the end of this 1-hour presentation. You can put them in the chat window. So it's time to hear from one of our beloved musicians now. I think it's fair to say that these last months have been excruciatingly difficult for all performers who are still, you know, facing the uncertain remainder of 2021. We're optimistic we'll be back on stage, but we're taking it, well, basically a day or a week at a time. So it's encouraging now to be looking forward to the opportunities of the new season. I'm delighted to share some of her highlights. Our brilliant concertmaster, Sophie Rowell. Over to you, Sophie.
Thanks very much, Ben, and I'm just so glad to be looking forward after these times and to think about season 2022. I'm speaking today from the lands of the Bunurong Nation. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. I guess I'm here as the representative of all the musicians in the orchestra, and I think this season it's full of promise, and it's about coming back to the stage, and that in itself is exciting. And then when that's combined with the planets having aligned and the fortuitous appointment of our new chief conductor, Jaime, from whom you heard earlier, there's an energy in this orchestra and a promise which is really exciting. I know I speak for everybody when I say just how thrilled we are to welcome him, and that we're so looking forward to the journey that our music making is going to take together. And by the same token, I think we also feel very fortunate to count you, Ben, as one of us, and that we get to continue that relationship for the next while. For us, it's comforting and invigorating, if something can be both at the same time, to have such strong artistic leadership at the MSO, and especially now going forward. I think 2022, we find ourselves in so many different settings, and one of which is the continuation of the MRC series, which are 3 concerts showcasing the orchestra in a smaller settings, allowing us to do all sorts of different repertoire. And to kick off that series is something that I've been trying to put on for 2 years, but keeps getting cancelled thanks to the pandemic. But I'm determined to play with the mind-blowing accordion player, James Crabb, next year. And together with the orchestra, we'll play Bach, and we'll pair that with Scottish composer Sally Beamish, whose love and knowledge and innate sense of Scottish folk music is just pervades throughout her music and is a beautiful pairing with Bach. I'm also delighted to say that Elena Katz-Chernin has agreed to rewrite something for the orchestra. Years ago, when I was in a string quartet, she wrote for us Anna Magdalena notebook, about 6 pieces, beautiful reworkings of Anna Magdalena's pieces. And now I can just imagine them working really beautifully in the MRC with a chamber orchestra forces. So it'd be beautiful to bring that piece to life again. Second of the MRC concerts is also going to have a lot of reworking of pieces. That's led by the other concertmaster, Dale Bartrop. And again, some of my favourite quartet works will be reworked for chamber orchestra, Ravel and Shostakovich. I say a favourite a lot because I think I've got a lot of favourites, but I mean, there's just so much music that speaks to me, and I'm sure this concert will speak to you all too. The series finishes with an absolute bang. One of the highlights of my performing career actually was to share the stage with Meow Meow earlier. She was mesmerizing, and I know that everybody in the audience felt the same way. So I can only imagine the energy and the excitement that she's going to bring to the MRC series later in the year, alongside wonderful Melbourne pianist Aura Go. And MSO will be along for a ride, and I don't think the MRC will have ever seen anything quite like it. It was very exciting. It's nice to always welcome back people with whom you've built such a beautiful relationship over the years, and one of them certainly is Tan Dun, an extraordinary musician and person who grew up in such a different environment and uses those the scenes and the ideas and the memories and the traditions of his childhood, pairs them with all the Western style music that he learned later. He's got a very unique voice, very, for me, it's like he speaks from his soul with the music that he brings to us, and bears his heart for us all. And I'm sure we're just the same when we perform his organic trilogy. 2022 sees us performing with heaps of exciting soloists. But I have to be faithful and say that I'm really excited about the violin soloists, particularly one of my favourites of all time, Augustin Haderlich. I still love the violin, even having played it for what feels like ever. And the thing I love about it is when there's a gorgeous sound, which is like velvet. And Augustin really is the person who embodies that sound the best. So when you combine that with the powerful and that incredible Bartók second violin concerto, I have to say I think I'm going to have the best seat in the house, even though I encourage you all to come to that concert. Starting that concert is actually a piece by Harry Stroilig, an up-and-coming Australian composer, one I think really is going to make a big impact on the Australian music scene in years to come. And to finish, well, what better than Rachmaninoff's symphonic dances, the internal, driving, over-powerful piece which really sweeps you along. Leading us in this concert is a very, very dear friend of the orchestra, Fabian Russell, who many of you will remember as the tuba player for MSO in years gone by. So Fabian's made his way to the front of the orchestra, and we're really looking forward to welcoming him to the podium. For the musicians of the MSO, the Messiah is the end of year celebration, and 2022 is going to have the best Messiah celebration of all time as we welcome back our dear Sir Andrew Davis to the podium to perform with us his version of the Messiah. It's accompanied by a great quartet of Australian soloists and a fabulous MSO chorus, but also joining us on stage, thanks to Sir Andrew's orchestration, will be French horns and clarinets and trombones, sleigh bells. And I can assure you that when the cymbal crashes in the Alleluia chorus, there'll be such delight on Sir Andrew's face. There'll be delight in all of us and in everybody in the audience. I just know it's going to be the most invigorating Messiah Melbourne has ever heard. I think we need that right about now. I've left something very dear to my heart as the last concert I wanted to talk about, and that is what I think the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra does the best. You see, I think we're in this unique position where we can bring in the best of the world And we're able to showcase that alongside Melbourne's finest, whether that be musicians, composers, performers, our First Nations artists, our educators. We really have a community of artists that celebrate everybody within that and welcome everybody to it. And so I'm delighted to say that we welcome Christian Lee, very, very incredible young artist, to join us as part of the MSO artistic family. And I think to have Sir Andrew conducting this concert is absolutely perfect, because I wonder what Sir Andrew, where he thought he'd be when he was 12 or 13 years old. We're showing everybody what music is. Mendelssohn's beautiful, youthful violin concerto paired with Carl Vine's opening piece, and then the way nobody does a long line of music like Sir Andrew. So for me, this concert is what the MSO is all about. At the same time, our community is within ourselves. We're a family, of course we are. We're it's musical family that's just dying to play and dying to celebrate our own, and we will do that a lot next year. Can't wait to have Michael Pisani play Anna Kor's Cor Anglais Concerto for you all, which he played earlier this year. The Rest is Silence, the name of the piece, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and it really deserves to have an audience this time, that's for sure. And then Jack Schiller will premiere a concerto by Matt Lang, our principal bassoonist, will take to the front of the stage. I'm looking forward to hearing our principal harpist Inyo Mu play a new harp concerto written for her by Melody Erdvösch. Of course, Chris Moore with that reworking of The Lost. And then also as part of our celebrations for International Women's Day, our associate principal cellist Rachel Tobin will come to the front of the stage for Anna Klein's Dances for Orchestra and Cello. I think that's that feeling of being part of a community is what makes me so proud to be part of the Melbourne Symphony. And it is the players on the stage, and it's the players we welcome to the stage, and that can be our soloists, and it can also be the young musicians in the Melbourne Youth Orchestra, or the partnership with the National Academy of Music. For all of those musicians, we play for them, and then we get to play with them, and I think that's really important. We take our music to the schools of Melbourne and the schools of regional Victoria, and to the people of Victoria. I feel like the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra is really a voice for everybody, I hope. And season 2022, I think, has something for everybody. And I know that I just can't wait to pick up my violin and get back to the stage and start making music for everybody again. I'm really, really, really looking forward to it, Ben. I can't tell you how much, but you are too.
I am indeed. And there was a question that came in on the chat window from Adele B. Said, what are you looking forward to regarding being able to perform again? Well, I think you've just answered all of that with those wonderful comments, Sophie. And yeah, fingers crossed it won't be too long before we're making music together again for the people of Melbourne. It's you were mentioning all those violinists. You know, it struck me James Ennis is also coming as well to do a play direct with the orchestra, which is very, very exciting. So yeah, it's an amazing year for violin soloists. It's all in the season brochure, all on the website, and you can have a look through all of that as you put your own subscription together. So, and just a reminder, we did just have our best first day of ticket sales ever. So get in quick, but I'm sure you might have some questions about all things ticketing in the 2022 season. So I'll hand you over to the MSO's Senior Manager of Sales and Customer Experience, Shannon Toyne. Over to you, Shannon.
Thank you, Ben. That's right. I'm here on behalf of our box office team to talk ticketing and our 2022 season. Firstly, I would like to thank you for your patience over the last 18 months as we work through the many concert postponements, reschedules, and cancellations. We are so excited to be looking forward to 2022 and seeing you all back in our concert halls. Speaking of returning to concert halls, I'd like to reassure all our audience members that we have been working closely with our venue partners to ensure that you have a safe environment to return to. Our purchase assurance policy means that you can book tickets with the assurance that should concerts be impacted by COVID restrictions, you will be eligible for a full refund, including booking fees. I know there'll be many subscribers watching today, and I'm sure many of you are excited by the return of our set series packages and your preferred seating. We're happy to say that for those of you who had an allocated seat in 2020 as part of a set series subscription, that your seat has been automatically held for you in 2022. These seats will be on hold until November 23 and can be renewed through our website, via your booking form, or over the phone with our box office team. If you'd like to add any extra concerts to your set series subscriptions, we encourage you to book early to get the best available seats. Purchasing a subscription either as a set series or building your own year of music with a create your own package before October 25 means you have an exclusive booking period and access to the best seating and the best prices. For any of our audience members that may hold credits for MSO concerts, either in the form of a gift card or otherwise, you are absolutely able to use this towards your 2022 subscription or single ticket purchase. I'd also like to highlight that 2022 sees a new look to our Monday evening Hamer Hall concerts. These 4 one-hour concerts will offer a quick fix of music at 6:30, giving you an inspiring and uplifting start to your week with live orchestral music. Our website's frequently asked questions page is a great place to find answers to any questions you may have about purchasing tickets or attending MSO concerts. If you can't find an answer there, you can submit a question now. Otherwise, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you. That's all from me. I'll now hand back to Ben.
Thank you so much, Shannon. That's wonderful. And it's time to answer any questions that you may have. If you want to put them into the chat box on YouTube, do so now. Any that we don't get to, you can take them up with the box office as well, and we will reply to you through the website. There's a question about the chamber music series that isn't included in the brochure as yet. And just to update you on that, Chris Moore, who is our curator of the MSO Chamber Music Series, is working with our team to finalise that series. We can confirm that the series will be presented at the wonderful light-filled and easily accessible Deakin Edge in Federation Square, where we held our 2 chamber concerts this year. And we will be announcing the 3 concert series before the end of the year. We'll keep you updated regularly as that develops, as I'm sure that it will. Are there any other questions that have come in? Doesn't look like we have too many, which is good. We must have covered some good territory today between Jaime, Sophie, myself, and Shannon. So I might, in that case, wrap up this presentation. If there are no questions, that's wonderful. Today's session has been presented by MSO Principal Partner Emirates. I'd like to thank you all for attending. A big thank you, obviously, to Jaime. He's gone now, but it was wonderful to have him join us from Colorado in America late at night. And yeah, everybody's just so excited to have him out in 2022 and see all of those wonderful concerts that he's put together. Big thank you to you, Sophie. A big thank you to Shannon, our MSO team behind the scenes here, bringing this digital broadcast to you. We're doing things differently, aren't we, here in Melbourne in 2021? But we're all very proud of the year ahead and keenly aware of the role music will play in the lives of people in Melbourne and Victoria in the coming years as we work our way through this pandemic era. And this season heralds an exciting new chapter in the history of our great orchestra, the arrival of a new chief conductor. I'm sure that you are looking forward, as much as I am, to the return of the MSO and live music as soon as possible. So thank you once again for joining us today, all of your support for the MSO. We've never needed you so much as we do now. And I can't wait to see you all again in person in the concert hall soon to share some live music. So until then, I'm Ben Northey. Take care and go well.